Welcome and thank you all. Every one of you have had a part in this one way or another, and it's just been a beautiful and wonderful project. Let me first thank those who got it to its beginning of construction. Mr. Bush provided the land you're standing on to the city over 94 years ago. The parking lot is at least 60 years old, dusty, and with people playing here and there. Efforts to improve it have been going back for at least 50 years. SCAN has actively promoted it, our neighborhood association, for at least 30 years. The city began dust control, I think, under Keith Keever's efforts at least 15 years ago. And the city paved the right-of-way up to Mr. Tagatek's house right over here in 2004. With Councilor Randall's help at that time, the neighbors got together and paved the unpaved portion of the parking lot, the 2 blocks down this direction from Capitol to Summer, and that got it going. These poor people over here and the poor people that were busily trying to breathe still had this dusty mess down here. So we promised Mr. Randall that we would not give up. We'd make sure this got done. And so onwards we went, and at that time, Tim Gerling was able to find a certain amount of money, and the council matched that money for planning, and the Nevunon Associates produced a beautiful plan, partly under Nitin Joshi's efforts, partly under Tom Caffin's efforts, and everything you're standing on now was in that plan except for the daylighting in the creek down here. And so their plan was really excellent. As it evolved, we needed to find some funds, and at or about that time, Councilor Tesler was elected and was continuously supportive throughout all of this. There were many, many things done and found through her efforts, quiet or otherwise, and on we went. So in 2007, I guess it was, Nitin Joshi and Barbara Roberts' group in Parks got together and wrote a series of grants to ODF&W and to the state parks. And they didn't work because the parks thought there were too many fish and the fish people thought there were too much park. So at that point, we had to figure out what to do next. And so the council at that time, Bennett, Tesler, Nanke, Sullivan, Dickey, Rogers, Cannon, Clem, and Mayor Taylor were persuaded to put money from right-of-way sales into this project. I suppose it was a bit over Mr. Bechtel's dead body, but it was okay. All right, fine. In any event, over time, about $300,000 was assembled from that group, or from that part of the process. And then Councilor Sullivan urged the city to put funds from the sale of land for a fire station towards this. The fire station was not the land was never sold, but between our city manager, our Councilor Tesler, our former Director of Public Works, Mr. Fernandez, and others, funds were found from the easement granted by the federal government to Middle Brown, and those monies are a loan to be repaid eventually, and that made this $500,000 project possible. It was wonderful that people put it together, and that brought it up to the point where it was ready to go. Our city managers, both Bob Wells and Linda Norris, were just superb in helping get this through. So that's the group of people that got it to last summer, July 25th. Let's give them a hand right now. Okay, on July 25th, Jelko and company showed up with lots and lots of city people behind them. Andy Groh has managed the project from the very beginning and has done so with great joy. I'm not sure whether Ms. Norris pushed him into doing that or not, but in any event, he's been here doing all sorts of good fun. And under him have been a whole series of wonderful city employees. Jerry Pepe and the whole survey crew got it to the point where it'll actually drain. And Keith Keever and his group, especially Harold Crook, Jose Gallegos, and others, got the irrigation going. Numerous other people were involved in getting the project in its first few weeks organized and doing things. Then, after the bike trails were reorganized under Mr. Grove's tutelage, Jelko came in with Tom Jordan and Link Chapman. Chapman was the guy who was always in a machine, always tearing things up, always having fun. He was just superb to photograph. And he actually got an awful lot of good things done too. Then, as they walked around and did things and worked around, Ray Hoke Construction came in, and the paving, I've never seen paving done like this. It was just brilliantly organized, smoothly done, and on it went. And then once that was done, then Rose Schindler from Wetland Restorations came in and put in these beautiful plants that we're all trampling on and having fun. And so, is it Josh? No, John. Yeah, and you're Salvador, and Rose and her husband and others are here tonight. And gosh, it's just going to be beautiful. It's beautiful now. It's going to be great then. And let's see, Tom Seisel signed off on all the good parts of this, and lots of people were in and out and in and out and in and out, but there was only one guy who was here all the time, and that was Larry Douglas. This guy here, it has been just absolutely wonderful. We thank you all. We're as happy as we can be, and that's enough of me. Thank you all for everything about this. Is there anybody else that would like to comment or speak or do things? Ms. Norris?
Thank you. I just want to say on behalf of this city that, we can't do these projects without all of you. And we've had so much tremendous help from people in this neighborhood and people in the community. It's really been just a joy. And I think this is going to be another one of those award-winning projects. It's so wonderful. So thanks to everyone who helped with this, and especially for all of your help, Wally and Kathy. Thank you very much. It's been really a pleasure. I know. Persistence pays off here. So thank you so much. And I'd like to turn it over to Laura Tesler, our counselor.
Appreciate it. Hey, it's really great to see everybody here today. I was just sitting over there thinking about the many times I was in council and a street vacation would come up. And much to Peter Fernandez' disgust and Mark's too, because every time I saw a street vacation, I would just be on the money, and I would go to the person. If it wasn't in Ward 2, I would go to the person and I'd say, listen, can you give me that $28,000 because I'm trying to get this parking lot paved. And I thought, okay, well, how many times is it going to take me to save all the street vacation money and get the parking lot paved? And I think we did like $250,000 worth of just these little pieces of street vacations here and there. And Mark would just hate me because he would come and he would just put up this little fancy thing. Yeah, and he likes his project, but every time he was there, he's like, well, what do you think we should do with the money? I think we should put it in Lower Lafelle, Mark. Yeah, that's a great idea. So, so anyway, it took a long time. It took 10 years total, and it took 5 years, with me, and we finally got the money together. And TJ, I'm sorry TJ can't be here today because TJ was really instrumental in the last little cap and getting it done. And so it's really nice to be down here. I rode my bike past here all summer long, and it was kind of interesting to watch the construction and be coated with dust. And that was fine because I knew the end was in sight. And, look at it now. I mean, really, just turn around and look at the plants and the bioswales and look at the curb cuts. And just FYI, those are really simple things you can do at your house to drain water. So keep that in mind. And I guess that's really all I wanted to say. It's just really nice to see something like this come to fruition. And somebody said to me today, gee, it's really nice to see the city do something that's not screwed up. So I'll take that as a compliment.
This is a modern version of stormwater detention where in conventional systems, water would drain off of a parking lot into catch basins, and then it would go into pipes and run through pipes out to a river and then be dumped into the river. So it takes the water away fast, but the water doesn't have an opportunity to drain into the ground in the location that it falls. And so in these modern catch basins, the idea is or bioswales, is to capture the water on site and to have a holding area where the water can filter into the ground and be filtered by these plants. And so as much as water that can be absorbed will go into the ground, and if there's excessive flows, can flow out of this detention area into a secondary detention area, and then that would fill up as well. And once it filled up to a certain level, then it would flow out of that into a pipe drainage system. But the point of it is that you have an area that can hold water for a period of time, and a lot of the water can drain down into the ground and go into the groundwater. It reduces erosion problems, and it just improves water quality. As the water flows through these, the water gets filtered by the plants. It actually picks up the oils and the contaminants that are in the water, and then allows the water to filter down to the ground and is essentially cleaned. The trees are also selected based on their type, and they're also types of trees that can withstand prolonged periods of flooding.